The WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
All right, it's an edition of the WCB Podcast. Hopefully this goes well. Seem to be having some sort of internet issues. We don't know whose end it's on. It could be anybody's. So it's Jarom. It's Tanner. What's up, bud?
Nothing much, man. Just got home visiting Chicago over the week.
Yeah, you so would you miss the cold?
Yeah, basically. It felt real good to be back. It was nice.
Yeah, you got a pretty good weekend. It was only like Friday. It was only like kind of shitty weather.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to snow like massively on Friday, and it didn't at all.
That's been the story of the winter, though. They claim it's going to be a million inches of snow, and then it's like barely an inch.
No.
So while you were in town, you took in the Blackhawks Ottawa Senators game. So when we get to that point, I'm letting you have that one. You can talk all about it. But yeah, lots going down. Well, lots and not lots going on. We had a couple trades happen after we got done recording last week. A couple games were played. You want to call that games being played? Except for the, of course, the game you saw.
Games happened.
Games happened, and I think that's going to be the theme the rest of the way. But we will talk about that in a little bit. Where do you want to start? Games or trades?
Let's go games.
Let's go Easy. Games.
Get them knocked out.
Okay, so boom. The first game we got was happening while we were recording last week. Hawks versus Arizona Coyotes. This was all Arizona. 4 unanswered goals to make to win this game 4-1. I didn't watch it because I was editing the podcast. You know, you were in blackout area.
I'm in Arizona blackout territory, baby.
An interesting stat I saw on Hockey Reddit while we were trying to figure this all out is Arizona Coyotes have a better home winning percentage than a playoff team. Can you name that playoff team?
Like it's better than their home winning percentage?
Yes.
Is it in the West?
Yes.
Is it like LA?
No.
Is it a Pacific team?
Yes.
Of course. Edmonton?
No.
Seattle?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Seattle had that wicked road trip where they went 7-0. So
yeah. So the Mullet Arena has its advantages, and I really think they need to just suck it up and play there for the rest of the franchise history.
Yeah, and spend only half of the salary cap.
They're doing well. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about that too in NHL Talk because that was kind of sitting wrong with some people how the Coyotes managed their trade deadline, but don't hate the rules. I mean, don't hate the player, hate the rules. So.
Yeah,
we're gonna skip. All right, so that's all I got from Arizona. Then on Thursday, the Blackhawks took on the Dallas Stars in Chicago.
And you were there.
I was at this one, and all excited to watch the new face of the Chicago Blackhawks take center stage, Max Domi, and get to the arena to find out that he's healthy scratch because there was a trade coming between the Dallas Stars and the Chicago Blackhawks. I was kind of hoping it would happen where he just walks out and at the end of warmups in the Dallas Stars jersey and just gets on the ice and goes. Traded on his birthday too.
Yeah, what a weird day for him. Didn't even get to play hockey on his birthday.
Yeah, bullshit.
Both teams he was playing for this season were playing on his birthday, and he didn't get to play for either of them.
Oh man, but yeah, so Max Domi goes to Dallas. We'll talk more about that trade and the return on that. This game was oddly close for a little bit, for much longer than I was expecting.
They just got 2 empty netters, didn't they?
Yeah, they had 2 empty netters at the end. Hintz had a hat trick in this one.
Yeah.
Cole Gutman tied it up with about 5 minutes left in the first to make it 1-1. And you were kind of texting a little bit during that game, and you're like, Gutman might be the guy, or it might be that guy or something.
He's just gonna be. He's in like the perfect situation where like the team doesn't have anybody that's like the superstars. It's kind of
Yeah.
like when Vegas like first became a team in Seattle currently. So there's plenty of ice time to go around, and like he's taking full advantage of it.
Oh yeah, and that's gonna be huge going forward. Like a lot of these
Yeah,
guys are gonna be. I mean, it's kind of this. I think what you said with the Vegas situation is a different situation, but it's the same premise. The Chicago Blackhawks are gonna be the land of misfit toys for the next couple of years until
yeah.
they decide to make that jump in the rebuild, where they go from rebuilding to start contending again. So it's like you're gonna see a lot of guys like Gutman, Bjork,
Oh yeah,
and all these
it's
kind of.
tons of people that are like going to get a second chance basically in Chicago if they're going to get a bunch of ice time. If they can't pull it off here, then I mean the Hawks aren't really committed to anybody long term. But like if they pull it off here, they kind of just raise trade value, and then if they want to stay, I'm sure the Hawks would be okay with it. But like a lot of the guys are probably like, okay, like we can move you to a playoff team. Like you're playing well enough, we'll get assets. Like
Look at Jack
they're
Johnson,
I'm sure they're
Lafferty,
just looking
McCabe.
towards like their draft picks right now. Like those are the guys that they're not going to be trading away, but like the guys that they're bringing in and kind of showing off and giving ice time to. Like I don't know, it'd be nice to if Cole Gutman keeps like progressing because he made it up quick.
Yeah.
If he keeps progressing, it'd be nice to have him stick
They,
around.
they still don't even have his photo on NHL.com.
But yeah, he's just looking so confident with the puck. It's good. It's good. I like seeing him out there.
Yeah. Um, Power play was abysmal, or penalty kill was abysmal for the Blackhawks. Stars went 2 for 3, both in the first period, both Rube hints. Um,
Rupe.
Seth Jones gets on the board. I thought his got tipped, but I guess it didn't. It looked from my angle. I was right behind the net on that
It
one.
went through like a million people.
I thought I don't even know who it was from, but it looked I thought no, it was Cini. I thought Cini got a piece of it. But I guess not. But anyway, yeah, I mean this was just another game. It was a lot closer. Mrazek again. The storyline is with him. It's like he's got bad games, but when he's on and he's giving the team every opportunity to be in the game and to win. And this was the kind of game that I'm happy that this team's gonna be playing. It's like stay
Oh yeah.
close for a majority of the game, and then the last couple minutes, yeah, lose empty net goals. Let's go. That's fine, but make it competitive up
I
until the
mean,
end.
yeah, it was really just a one goal game that they lost. Also, it was so confusing pregame to be hearing like Matt Murray starting at night for Dallas, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a second Matt Murray out there.
yeah,
I
that
mean,
was
it's
his
like his first NHL game.
NHL debut, NHL first win, of course. But yeah, not too much else from that one. They stuck with the playoff team. I mean, that's the takeaway. You got a
Yeah,
bunch of guys, good experience. I mean,
it's one of those things that you think is so funny because it's like, yeah, the Hawks are losing games, and like you said, but they stay close. So like when a team like Toronto, back when we had Kane and Domi out there, but like when a team like Toronto came in, like how are you not going to smoke this team? It's like the Hawks haven't really been like smoked that many times. Like
no,
they stay in games. They just like can't do it the whole time. They end up losing to teams because their other teams are better, but like they fucking compete.
they're not a 60-minute team. They're not built for that.
Yeah. It
So,
just goes into the next game, which I just think is hilarious because this game started hot against Nashville.
oh
But
yes.
Melissa, did you have anything else to say about
No, I'm
Dallas?
good. We can move on.
Fucking game started hot. Seth Jones goal 37 seconds in, and I was like, "Oh, the boys are feeling it." That was it for the Hawks. It was pretty funny.
All
Um,
Nashville after that. Mrazek
but
was
that
in it for this one too, right? Yeah.
yeah, he played back to back games. I mean, it wasn't back to back nights, but it was a day off in between. I
But
figured that they
again,
would go Staylock.
22 for 24 saves for shots. Like it wasn't a bad game for Mrazek.
Yeah, he he's been pretty solid all year. Like I don't know, stats don't show it. Like always, I keep saying it all the time, but he is making the solid saves that he needs to make, and like the goals that are going there are just like usually like spectacular goals.
But yeah,
God
UC
damn.
Saros playing great for Nashville. It's like
Of course.
Nashville too is a weird spot right now too for me. It's kind of funny because I think they're actually playing well now, where they're flirting with the wild card spot.
No, are they really?
Yeah. Let's see. They're 69 points. Winnipeg's at 75. So
Winnipeg has been losing games lately. Lots of games.
and it's not somebody I forgot who it was, but they're like, can you imagine the storyline that Nashville starts selling and one of the teams they sold to, they go end up passing that team to make the playoffs? Like,
Edmonton?
well, I was talking Winnipeg with Nito Niederreiter.
Oh, I forgot Nino Niederreiter went to Winnipeg. I
Yeah,
was thinking of Eklund or fuck, not Eklund.
Ekholm.
Ekholm. Yeah, Matthias
Yeah.
Ekholm.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Kind
Yeah,
of
I picked up I made a trade for Connor Hellebuck in fantasy, and since then he has gotten 2 wins and about 8 losses.
yeah, the bullshit trade. So it's the hockey gods coming back.
Yeah, I don't know why it's bullshit, but okay. Um, I'm just trying to see, like, man, they have been losing so much. Winnipeg has, and like now is not the time to lose. Like the first half of the season they played great, and then all of a sudden they've like forgot how to play hockey. Like, is somebody hurt?
Calgary's kind of coming back a little bit too. I mean, they're not guaranteed anything at this point. Calgary's only
Yeah,
4 points back.
yeah. Winnipeg has a game in hand. Honestly, St. Louis win some more games. Like, just miss the playoffs. Just don't don't come into the lottery at all. I don't want St. Louis to have a 1% chance at first overall at all.
God, it is crazy.
It would be pretty funny though if Nashville made the playoffs and like Winnipeg didn't.
It would be very entertaining. And NHL needs that storyline there.
Dude, so wide open in the West. It's funny too because Winnipeg is 4 points up on that wild card spot from Calgary, and then they're also only
One
like
point.
5 points back of first place, or 6 points back of first place in the
Yeah, I mean
Central.
they're 1 point away from passing Colorado for that last wild card spot. But
So what the West is the joke this year. It's such a joke.
well, that's what we were saying. Like I think last episode, it's like you got the Eastern Conference is preparing for fucking nuclear war, and then
Mhm.
it's like the West Coast is trying to fill up their water balloons and they're bursting as they're trying to do it, and they have no idea. It's like they have to be hoping that whatever team comes out of the West is got to hope that the East just beats the living shit out of each
Oh
other
yeah,
for 3 rounds, and they're limping into the Cup final.
yeah. They can just like give him a little nudge with their
Yeah.
finger and knock him over and win a cup.
Yeah, like that's the only hope really.
Didn't have to sell everything. Like, they probably go in there with like a full bill of health.
Yeah, right. They don't even skate like their top guys half the series. They just like they rest them leading up to the Cup final.
Yeah. God, it's like Colorado's gonna win it again. Whatever. So Nashville, yeah. Hawks lose.
3-1 that ends up being a 4-game losing streak for Chicago, which hey, what you
Doesn't
need,
hurt.
what you want. Wasn't a bad. I mean, it was on paper wasn't a blowout. So hey, all right. So that brings us to Monday, and you were in the house at the Madhouse.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
Got a new hat, so that's all. That was great. It was a good start. Um, it was really cool to see DeBrincat, and like a lot of people were repping DeBrincat jerseys. I completely forgot Chikrin was on their team too. I was like, oh damn.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, we're gonna get smoked. But then it was also kind of funny because before the game, I had seen Ottawa going into this game. What was in their last like 16 games? They're like 12-3-1.
Yeah, they
I
were
was
on
like, damn,
a 5-game winning streak going into this one.
yeah, they were on a heater. And that one overtime loss was against the Hawks, which is hilarious. And I was like, yeah, man, they're streaking. Like, The team's feeling good. They're looking good. And then this game happened, and I was like, "What is going on?"
So also here, a huge thing about this too is Cam Talbot was a late scratch in this
Yep.
one. They had to go with was it Sogard? Is how you say
Yeah,
it?
Matt
Sogard.
Sogard, who
Um,
also had a fantastic February.
yeah, and so
I think he was rookie of the month for February too from the
yeah,
NHL.
he got the call, and then they recalled another goalie to be backup, but he wasn't gonna get there in time. So the news came out that the e-bug for the night was none other than Scott Foster.
Yeah,
And when I heard that, I was like, the only fitting thing for this Hawks season is for Scott Foster to get into this game and to shut out the Blackhawks.
oh God, yeah. It was the exact opposite of what happened, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I threw that jinx out there in Ottawa because it was all Blackhawks the entire game.
I had told my buddy Kevin who I went to the game with, I was like, just talking about guys on the team, and I was just like, man, I love Kurashev, but like he gets you 95% of the way there, and then he just doesn't know how to finish. And then like 3 minutes later, he scored. And I was like, great, you heard me. I was like, it's so funny.
Got his ninth of the year.
Yeah, on a great goal. It was a nice toe drag that he held back while the defenseman slid across and reached for it, and he just held it. And once he went past, he just ripped it past the glove side.
His
Um,
his patience, man.
yeah,
He can be so good, and I really hope that he's so good in Chicago.
yeah, it's he's poised to like just get that ice time, like we said before with Cole Gutman. Like anybody that's going to show a little bit of offensive ability is going to get all the ice time in the world on the top six. Speaking of offensive
He
ability,
he led all forward real quick. He led all forwards too with ice time Kershaw, 18
did he
minutes and
really?
4 seconds.
Nice.
All right.
But yeah, Seth Jones came out in the second period, scored 2 goals within like 4 minutes of each other. It's pretty nasty.
2 minute mark and the 5:29 mark.
Jason Dickinson got a nice goal, just like he got fed right in front and then shot it right underneath Sogard's like blocker side. All 3 of those goals were assisted by Anders Bjork.
Primary assist too.
Yeah,
Wasn't the secondary little just the
great
participation assist, but
great
no.
passes. All of them great passes too. So that was kind of funny to know that we got him for absolutely nothing. And then third period, the whole time I was like, look out for this German kid, Lucas Reichel. Like he's gonna be sick. He gets a breakaway chance and he finishes it. And I was just like, oh, so nice. It was hilarious. The guy behind us was just trying to get a chant going of "We want 6." Like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But he's like, "We want 6." It was such a good game to go to, man. The DeBrincat tribute video was great. It was cool. And then he had his little hand up, just like, thank you.
I just like 2 before the game. They were talking about it, and he's like, it's like, yeah. He goes, I kind of looked around and I didn't really recognize any of the names on the board. So it's kind of like, yeah, I guess I got to live off my memories and not like reconnecting with people.
Yeah, like who was there? Connor Murphy, Seth Jones,
Kurashev,
Kurashev, Tyler Johnson,
Entwistle,
Entwistle,
Murphy,
yeah,
and Caleb Jones.
Radish.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's it. Out of whatever.
yeah.
Stalock had a monster game that game too. There was plenty of times he was just left hanging out to dry, and he made the saves, and it was just so funny to see that we win 5-0. He has 35 saves shutout, and we had 21 shots.
Well, too, on top of that, how about Brady Tkachuk challenging him to a fight?
Oh yeah, no, Brady was going at it with Seth Jones in the second period, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, is Seth Jones gonna have to go at it with Brady Tkachuk? And then I'm like, talking with Kevin about it. I was just like, "There's no way Seth Jones is going to do it. He's going to get his ass tossed." I was like, "Who can do it?" And I was like, "Oh, Jared Tenorti's going to do it."
Yeah.
Like Jared Tenorti is going to fight Brady Tkachuk, and then 2 minutes later, that happened.
Yeah.
The funniest thing that also happened too was at one point there was a 3-on-1, and I think it was Reichel or Kurashev that was leading the 3-on-1, and like the point man on the 3-on-1 was Jared Tenorti, and I jokingly go, "Get it to Jared!" Fucking dropped it back to Jared, and he throws it high and wide, and it rings around the bag, and then it's a like 3-on-1 going the other way, and I was just like,
Oh,
I
man.
was kidding, like that's like don't
Do that. He's not. Yeah, he's
just
not the guy to do
just take
that.
the 2-on-1.
That's the guy that just got lost and just happened to be in the play there, and it was like,
It
oh
was
shit, what do I do
was
now?
it was kind of a sloppy game that like turned out in the Hawks' favor very much so, but it was a fun one to be at. Like, it got choppy as hell.
Oh
It
yeah,
was it was it was nice.
yeah. I couldn't get over Brady. Just I don't even know if it's like I don't like him because of how he is or the fact that he's not on my team. It was like it's like, dude, calm the fuck down. Like, you know that no one in the Hawks is gonna fucking fight you. Like, you have one guy that's gonna fight you. That's it. And it's like just chirping at Staylock and all that kind of shit too. I was just
Oh,
like,
Stalock
dude.
was chirping at him.
But it was just funny though. Like, but he was like, Brady's like challenging him and Staylock chirping back, like, you're a fucking idiot, like just laughing
Yeah,
at him and all that kind of stuff. Like,
he's in his head.
come on,
Hey,
Brady.
dude, end of the game, 3 misconducts by Ottawa. Brady Tkachuk, Mark Kastelik, and Austin Watson.
A different.
3.
Oh no, Wagner. I always get Austin Wagner and Austin Watson like
Yeah.
mixed up.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Those guys are fucking so dumb. Like, Brady, you're an idiot. Like, let's go. Fucking figure it out.
Hey, he got me all the pins I needed for this week in fantasy, so it doesn't matter.
Single-handedly gonna win now because of that. But all right. So the Hawks went 1-3. Or I'm sorry, yeah, 1-3. Let's see. Coming up, they have Detroit tonight. I literally just accidentally closed out
Panthers Friday, and then Saturday Lightning,
Lightning.
and then we'll probably
Tuesday,
record after Tuesday. So Boston.
Boston. Yeah. So yeah, you got three teams that are, well, two teams that are kind of still fighting, playoff positioning. I mean, I think Tampa's pretty much set though.
Yeah, so it's Boston.
Well, no, I was going to talk about Florida is still kind of. I mean, they're right there. They're at 70 points. Pittsburgh 73 for that last wild card spot. So I mean, they're kind of still fighting for their position. Tampa, I think, is just on autopilot mode right now, and we'll get into that a little bit in NHL talk. And then Boston's just fucking Boston. I think Boston can clinch their playoff spot on Thursday.
Oh wow.
There's something like
With like 15 games left.
yeah, there's some like there's like some scenario if they win it, they will clinch at least. They're
Oh,
guaranteed
I'm
at least.
sure like
Yeah.
them winning and then other teams like losing for sure.
I think it's like if they win, the Islanders lose, Pittsburgh loses. I don't know, or maybe
I mean, they've clearly clinched a
they've
playoff spot.
clinched,
Like,
yeah.
there's
But
no
it's just
way that they don't.
it's insane to think though that with right now they have 20 games or no 19 games left in the season. No,
What?
20 games. 20 games left, and they're gonna clinch a playoff spot already.
And they're on a 10-game winning streak.
Yep.
They're 10-0 in their last 10.
Fastest team in NHL history to hit 100 points.
That's disgusting. That's fucking weird.
President's Trophy curse. President's Trophy curse.
Oh yeah.
Go. All right. 3 stars of the week. Not a lot to go by. I mean, you gotta go Seth Jones, I think, with one. He fucking tore it up. Fucking 4 goals. I don't know how many assists.
None.
No assists.
Yeah.
Selfish hockey.
Selfish. Hey, we need
Love
somebody
it.
to finish.
Yeah, right. Let's see by game.
Andreas Athanasio had a goal and 3 assists. York had the 3 assists he only played 2 games and he had 3 assists in the
I
Ottawa
think
game.
you go Jones, Stalock, and Bjork.
Yeah, why not? It makes sense.
And then I will randomly generate what order they go in. I'm not even gonna care.
Let's see who else do anything. Anybody get a ton of pims? Jared Tenorti, 16 penalty minutes in 4 games.
Let's go. Ooh, I gotta write that down for NHL Talk because I just look at the stats. Okay. All right. So looking at the trades too that went through between the last time we recorded. Dylan Sakura gone again. Just can't hang out in Chicago.
Can't score a goal for the Hawks.
I think you officially won that bet. But I don't know. Just pulling up the trade list.
I don't
Trade
know how long ago was that bet made.
Dude, that's pre-COVID.
It was what Dylan Sakura will never score 5 goals for the
Yeah, it's five.
Blackhawks.
Yeah, no, it's 5 NHL goals. We never even said for the Blackhawks. We just said you were so determined that he wasn't going to score 5 goals. You just said NHL goals.
I thought it was he said 3 goals in the NHL. I thought it was with the Blackhawks, but
Yeah, it was just so funny. But all right, March 2nd, obviously we just talked about it. Anders Bjork traded for future considerations. Dylan Sakura traded to the Anaheim Ducks for signing rights, I think, to
Maxime
Maxime
Golod.
Gload?
Is it signing rights? He's
I don't know.
undrafted.
The only picture.
Oh, okay. He's an RFA.
Oh, okay. Because I would say the only picture I saw of him was in his junior jersey. I think it was played for the Otters.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know,
Yes.
but I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. It shows on Cap Friendly that he's on his 3rd year of his entry level contract.
Oh, maybe. But and then the big one was Max Domi and Dylan Wells to the Dallas Stars for Anton Khudobin and a 2025 second round pick. Khudobin comes over strictly for cap reasons.
Yeah.
I think he's just playing in Rockford. Was he even playing this year?
No. I don't think so. He might have.
Oh,
I
he
don't think
played. Yeah, he played 24 games for the Texas Stars.
for the AHL team. Yeah.
So I wonder if he's just staying in Texas.
Well, I don't know.
I could like loan him and all that. But yeah, it's just
because Stauber and Arvidsson are playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another draft picked up second round pick, which is huge.
2025.
Yeah. We say it every time we talk about Max Domi. Will he get traded? Will he not get traded? Now that he is traded, I really hope that he comes back this offseason.
Oh, absolutely. That's like the one thing that would make a ton of sense is to like get him on like a long-term deal.
I also never realized how close he was to like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious.
And no clue.
But the other trade was Austin Wagner for future consideration. Kyle Davidson handing out future considerations, like Stan Bowman hands out no trade clauses. So hey, it's a much better change of pace here from our GM, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I mean he's just like giving these guys a shot. And so far the Anders Bjork one looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really funny with the York one because Kyle Davidson's first move as GM was Malcolm Subban to the Sabres for future considerations. So it really should just be Anders Bjork to the Hawks for past considerations.
Could they have that would have been hilarious if Kyle Davidson was like, yeah, we've acquired Anders Bjork to complete the Malcolm Subban trade.
Yeah, right.
Like,
that's really what it was.
That's so funny. I don't know why. It's so funny that you can just do that too. But
yeah. So that marks three trades that we gave up nothing during the trade deadline. With the Zaitsev, that one's still crazy to me. Zaitsev a second and a fourth, and then Anders
But
Bjork, and then Austin Wagner. So
Zaitsev's
we got
one's
three
not.
players and 2 draft picks for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not as crazy because we're also Zaitsev was totally for Chikrin.
Yeah.
Look at cap
Well,
space, and it's
kind
like
of, yeah.
we're taking on another year Zaitsev. So it's like where the other guys, I mean, I think they're just 1 year deals right now. So
Yeah, which is fine because like
right.
we still just want
We're trading our cap space. That's it.
NHL bodies, yeah, for
So
next year too.
so this was Kyle Davidson's like it was technically his second trade deadline, but his first one that he's been in full control for the entire year.
That he's been put his plan in.
Right. So how do you think he did, or like what's your mindset with his trade deadline?
Oh, I think he did good. I think it was a solid trade deadline. Like everybody's gonna say, like you should have gotten more for Kane, but you, yeah, could have gotten so much. Like could have gotten nothing. What he got was like decent enough. I mean, it could end up being um, a first and a fourth. The other part, what was it? There's, and I mean, he got a first from Toronto. They're terminating the one kid's contract, so just Joey Anderson, basically a first and a second. They could end up getting a first from the Rangers and a fourth, plus like whatever some other guys. We got Bjork. I mean, got a second round pick from Dallas. Like the Max Domi deal worked out fantastic. That's exactly what we were hoping for. Like
Yeah.
in the offseason was like, hopefully he'll be worth at least a second round pick come the trade deadline, and that's exactly what happened.
It would have been nice to get that first round pick, but
Yeah,
I mean they didn't have
and
a first round pick to give up. But anyways,
but
we
but now
technically might have their first round pick.
we're stacked with picks. The next 3 years for the first 3 rounds, I think we have something like 19 picks.
We have 2 first round picks each of the first
Yeah,
3
19.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. And we talked about it before last episode too. It's like just because we have these picks, it doesn't mean we're gonna use all these. We're going
Yeah,
to leverage them to I honestly think if the Rangers pick doesn't turn into a first round pick, we will use a couple at least one of those second round picks to trade up into the first round again. We will have 3
yeah.
first round picks this draft. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah,
And it's going to be another Mrazek situation. We'll probably trade our second round pick for a bad contract plus the first round pick. It's going to be the same thing all over again.
yeah. Which
And
I mean works. It works. It like next year when wait, is it 2 more years with Mrazek?
I think it's next year's his last year.
Yeah, and the next year with Mrazek when is playing, if he plays as well as he did this year, he'll end up being traded at the trade deadline.
Eat half that contract and just move him. It's the plan is kind of coming to like fruition a little bit. We're kind of getting a little bit more of an idea of what Kyle Davidson's trying to do. All right, so I think the last thing we talked about was like we kind of have the vision of what the rebuild's going to be and how Kyle Davidson's going to attempt this, and that really just leaves the question of how the buildup for the future is going to be. And I don't think we're going to have that answer until we know where this team is drafting
Yeah,
and what prospect and who they're getting, because I mean you got Pathé, Connor Bedard, and that realistically it shouldn't change drastically, but it does change the plan because you're going to be able to compete a lot quicker than
yeah.
without Connor Bedard. And then the other
Plus,
guy,
with the way the cap situation is, if Connor Bedard is as good as he's like made out to be, you're going to probably try and maximize those first years when he's not making over $10 million a year.
yeah.
Like,
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Last thing I have written down here for Hawks talk is, yeah, just your expectations going forward for the rest of the year. I mean, the reason I ask this is because people I follow, I see on Twitter and stuff, like especially during the game on Monday, furious that the Hawks were winning, furious that they kept scoring goals, furious that they just took themselves out of the Connor Bedard sweepstakes.
what are they like? I don't understand. Like you can't tell the players to just quit.
An NHL team is not going to go 0 for 20
Yeah,
the
like
rest of the way.
they're gonna win games, and it's gonna be funny that they win games because like this team on paper is not gonna win games, but this team on the ice, they'll probably win a couple games.
There's gonna, I mean, realistically, they have what? They'll have, as of right now, before, well, I think the Red Wings game just started, Hawks Red Wings. Um, but as of this moment, they have 19 games left. Could 4 and 15 seem reasonable?
That sounds about right.
And it's gonna, I mean, and then when you get a win,
Well, plus with like towards the end of the season, I don't know. A lot of these teams might be playing their starters still.
let's see, really quick. All right, so the rest of the way after what we got coming up, we got Nashville, Arizona. I mean, though Nashville's an interesting one. Arizona, obviously, whatever. Colorado's fighting for playoff position. Capitals are still in the hunt, trying to prove
They're
wild card
they're
spot.
only a few points out, but they're not in a favorable spot.
Yeah. Minnesota. I mean, they've made moves to try to boost their. I mean, are they even a playoff spot?
Yeah, yeah, they're in second in the Central.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. Wow, good for them.
They're like the only team to ever like retain cap in trades and also buy during the deadline because it's the weird it was the weirdest deadline I've ever seen for them.
And even with them, like I just didn't make sense with their cap hell. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
but yeah, then it's like Minnesota. You got, after Minnesota, you got Vancouver, who we know Vancouver is. You got Dallas, who is getting to fight for the division title. St. Louis, who I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to go the mindset of they're still trying to. You got New Jersey, who is a wagon right now. Calgary, who's fighting. Vancouver again. Seattle, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. I mean, you got a lot of teams that are still going to be fighting for playoff position, but you also got a lot of teams that are going to be out and then they're just playing to play. So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm starting to think maybe like 6 and 13 now.
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't know. 2 games of Vancouver and then Philadelphia. That's what scares me.
Like, let's bring in Qdoban.
Yeah, play him against Dallas. Let him play against his old team. Um, but yeah, it's relax. This team is going to lose more games than they're going to win the rest of the way. And
Even though they have had a really good record since January 1st.
right. And and honestly, the Ottawa game was perfect. That was a perfect morale booster for the team. And
Yeah.
it's nice to see that every once in a while when you're in a losing situation. So, you know what? You don't like it, fucking stop watching. Come back when the Blackhawks are winning again, and then you get bitching and moan about it again when the rebuild happens again down the line. That's my take.
14-3-1 since January 1st.
14-3-1.
14-13-1, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, why are we not in playoff contention? Why are we selling? Why were we sellers? Jesus.
Sorry, 14-13-1.
So 500 hockey.
Yeah, technically above 500. But
Technically.
yes.
So I don't know. You got anything else on or hot stock?
No. Oh, kind of Hawks talk. It has to do with the Jack Johnson trade. I forgot to mention. He has the possibility to play 83 games this season because by the time he got traded, the Hawks had played one extra game than Colorado. So then he played immediately in Colorado. So then if he finishes out the season in Colorado, he plays 83 games. And I think that's just a fun little stat because I don't think you get paid more
No, and
for
for that
playing
guy
an extra game.
and that player too, like I don't think you really expect Jack Johnson to be that guy. Like was for sure thought he was gonna get a couple health bombs this year, but good for him. Good for him.
It's nice
All
to
right,
see
all right,
back on that championship team.
quickly NHL talk here. What I wrote down really fast here, that I remembered halfway through is Connor McDavid. What a fucking freak, man. Holy shit. Uh career career high 124 points. Right
Can you
now.
imagine doing a fucking Edmonton Oilers podcast and just being like, so this guy, Connor McDavid, that we have, did something incredible this week. that's the podcast every week, man. Like,
It's so insane. And then that's like what's funny to me too is like just to show you how good Gretzky and Lemieux were, that they're like Connor McDavid's having the best NHL career or season in NHL history, not named Mario Lemieux or Wayne Gretzky. Like you just
yeah,
gotta forget those two guys. Don't even, those guys never existed. And McDavid is just this.
yeah.
Like,
There was a stat I think I saw. If he reaches like 160 points this year, I think that's what it was, he will have cracked the top 10 for most points in a season at number 10 behind Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky. He will have
oh
taken
man.
one spot from the top 10.
So can he
And
get
that's
40 points in 17 games?
it's possible, man. They probably like I don't
36
know.
points. 36 points.
Do you think they end up like if they're comfortably in a playoff spot, they end up sending him? I don't think they're gonna be comfortably in a playoff spot. They're like that
I
team
think
is
they're gonna be
just
fighting. Yeah.
such a weird team.
Oilers are not
You
good.
have two of the best players in the league, and your team is nowhere near like dominating that division.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't understand. I don't get it, and I don't
I love
understand
it.
how
I
McDavid's not
love
like,
it.
let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
But
right. Get me the fuck out.
speaking of trades, we'll go through some of the trades that happened. One of the most interesting one was the Jonathan Quick situation.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
talk about a fuck you, see you later type of thing for the Kings. I get what the Kings are doing and all that, but they trade him. They tell him before they get on the team flight to fly back to LA. So now he's got to sit on the plane.
Did they really?
Yeah, after finding out he got traded, pissed off the entire locker room, goes to Columbus. Columbus then flips him to Vegas. So now I am pulling for an LA King Golden Knight playoff series, and it might be the first time I cheer for the Golden Knights because I would love to see Jonathan Quick
Oh yeah.
game 7 against the Kings.
Just absolutely demolish them. Like there's a possibility that Seattle takes first place and it's a first round matchup too, which will be sick. Because
That would
that Pacific division right now is only 82 points, 82 points, and 80 points. So
it's
so this
crazy.
that one I mean, and also Edmonton's 78. So like I'm sure they'll probably be playing hard all the way till the end, not
Oh
sitting
yeah.
anybody.
All right.
But
Some other
that would be an incredible matchup to see for round one. But like it's so weird to see that because that was the trade immediately after Patrick Kane got traded. And it was just like trading Kane to the Rangers in the last year of his contract because we're not a good team as like doing him a solid to go have him play playoff hockey, some meaningful hockey. And then the LA Kings taking one of their like cornerstone like like cup champion players being in a playoff spot and being like you need to go because we need the cap space to
yeah.
make this deal work. And just the way that he gets treated immediately after Kane, how the Hawks treated Kane is just night and day. And you're just like, how do you do that? And then the fact that like these are the players that were dominating the playoffs like 10 years ago, so like my early 20s, and just being like, wow, like I never thought I would see either of these guys in a different
I said
jersey at that time.
I said in our group chat after the quick trade was official that it's like we've officially become old enough to see the end of NHL franchise mode when all like the players are on
Yeah.
random fucking teams.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's like such a end of an era. Like hockey's great now. Like it's the best it's ever been. But us growing up like in our 20s, like the dynasty area, the Blackhawks dynasty era was just so good hockey.
Yeah.
And the back and forth between the Kings and the Hawks, the Kings and the Hawks, it's like it's the fact that those teams are gone is
Yeah.
insanity to me.
Yeah. But I mean, Jonathan Quick revenge tour at the end of the season. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah. How about I
I
love
don't
to
even know if they play him because once Logan Thompson comes back, he's gonna probably get the start. But if he falters at all, I'm sure Quick's gonna be like, I'm going to murder everybody.
yeah.
And I just don't understand why they would move Quick too instead of like Cal Peterson. Like, I understand you gave him like this term and he's making $5 million. He's in the fucking AHL, dude. Like, you don't
I
think
feel like
that,
that would have been something Columbus would have bid at. A
right?
goalie with term and all that.
Like, maybe they were fine with it because Quick would be his deals up at the end of the year, but like, why wouldn't you want to move on from the guy that like is not playing NHL caliber like hockey, and you had to put him through waivers and nobody fucking wanted him? Like, maybe they just maybe Columbus really didn't want him, and like Quick was the only thing that kind of made it work. LA's
Yeah.
just it's so lucky to be in like a shit division because they've been like in the playoffs like all year without really quality goaltending. They're only +5 goal differential. Like, how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah, weren't they the only team for a little bit that was minus? And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just so weird. And like they've been doing it with like Phoenix Copley.
Yeah, that's I don't know. But all right, what other trades kind of stood out to you?
After that one, the Philip Hronik getting traded out of Detroit was
A
I
weird
I
one.
didn't even know he was available because he's still got another year left on his deal. But I think Vancouver was just like, hey, what if we give you like a first and a fourth for Hronik? And they're like, what? Okay.
It was a first and no, it was a first and a second.
First and a second. Oh my god.
A fourth went back to Vancouver.
Yeah, I think Eiserman's just like, yeah, we'll take 2 picks in this upcoming draft.
I fucking think Yzerman's building up for something this offseason. I think he's gearing up in case DeBrincat in Ottawa can't I know I'm like crazy that I always bring that up, but I legitimately think that if DeBrincat doesn't resign in Ottawa, it's gonna be Detroit. And I think Yzerman is building up the picks and in the draft capital to try to make a move to be like, hey, here you go. We'll give you this. We'll take his signing rights.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a solid foundation to a deal if you're thinking like, hey, like I'll give you these few picks in this draft to get the signing rights, especially since they moved on from Tyler Bertuzzi
They have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds this upcoming draft, plus 2 first rounds next year.
and
Oh,
32 million in cap space coming into the free agency.
and they also just re-signed Dylan Larkin. Forgot about that.
Yeah, they
80
extended it. They
80 or
extended that.
8.7 or
Isn't that crazy? Like for the last like few years, it's been just mainly the only people we know on the team besides like last year with Cider was like Larkin and Bertuzzi.
yeah.
And he said it. Even Larkin said it himself. He was just like that. It's pretty upsetting to see like one of your best friends go, especially
Yeah.
because like he gets extended and Bertuzzi gets tossed.
The same day. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean he got another first round pick. It's so funny to me that Boston. I guess it is a 2024. You never know what's going to happen to Boston after this
it's still
season.
top 10 protected though.
Top
So
10 protected. Yeah.
smart. But yeah,
Um.
I don't I mean it's like how not knowing what Kyle Davidson's gonna like what his plan is to build this team up. It's so funny like watching Yzerman like doing the exact same thing because it's like he's
Yeah.
a lot fucking closer to being a competitive team. And here he is, like he's a seller, just building up draft capital. Like, oh,
Yeah.
what is he doing?
Yeah. Is he going to make some moves?
Watching the
I hope
Masters.
so.
Um,
Dude, after like Tampa, like just making the Tanner Chanot trade and then Brisebois just going like, I don't care. Like we could try and use those picks and hopefully those guys turn out to be NHL players, or we can just give them up and get a guy that's a known NHL player. And
yeah,
like it's like, yeah, dude, you actually could. Like that makes so much more like I understand like wanting to hold on to like or wanting to gain picks to like hopefully nail a pick and be like, yeah, like that guy's good. Or if you're in the position to just be like, we need to solidify somewhere. I don't give a shit about these picks.
I just
That's
yeah,
nice.
people put way too much clout on draft picks. Like I understand, like
Yeah.
I think it all depends on your team situation.
If it's not a top five, and even top five is like unpredictable.
Yeah.
It's not like a top two. Like you're kind of just hoping for the best. Like it's mainly gonna be up to the development of the players and like your coaches. But
This is the only year that I would say like yeah, holding on to your first round pick is smart because it's such a deep class. But other than that, it's like
you're still hoping for the future. Like you can get the best guy available, but it doesn't mean that he's going to turn out to be a great NHLer. Like maybe he gets drafted and then it's just like cool and doesn't work hard anymore. Like that doesn't mean shit.
You
Like
want any proof? You want any like our societal resources? Go look back at the Blackhawks first round draft picks over the years.
they're all in different teams.
Yeah, and how many of them just fizzled out too that aren't even like a big thing. But all right, yeah, some other trades. Gossespierre to Carolina for a third round pick. The big one was Jacob Chikrin to the Ottawa Senators for a 2023 first round pick, 2024 second round pick, a 2026 second round pick, which was kind of funny after all said and done what they were holding out for. It
Yeah.
just seemed like it was such a letdown. I kind of was like expecting some blockbuster with that one.
Yeah, it came out that like it was the best fit because every other team that wanted to get Chikrin also wanted salary retained, but he's got like 2 or 3 years left.
Oh yeah,
And Ottawa, like even though Ottawa is a lot of dead cap, I mean, I'm sure 2, 3 years down the line they're not looking to be holding on to something like that still.
his grandfather's from Ottawa too,
Oh, that's funny.
so I think that was another thing. They were probably like, "Hey, family, let's go." So, let's see.
I thought a funny trade was Vladislav Nemesnikov being traded
Again,
again. He actually got traded twice, but getting traded out of Tampa again.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
the first time was in the JT Miller Ryan McDonough trade. Um, and that was in 2018. So like the team wasn't like winning a cup that season, but they went on to win a cup. Then he got knocked around, and then he re-signed with Tampa, and then he gets traded to San Jose at 50% retained, and then San Jose just trades him to Winnipeg for a fourth rounder. It was pretty funny.
Let's see. Jonathan Quick for Hutch in a seventh round pick. Voracek joins Legends role in Arizona.
Yeah.
Jacob Verana to St. Louis was an interest. It was a weird one because it's like again St. Louis making a move that probably wouldn't be a seller's move. So it's like you already got rid of two of your top guys, and then you take on a guy.
Yeah, with another interesting situation where Jacob Vrana was, I guess he's 50% retained. I was gonna say he was waived earlier on in the season. I don't know if they had the cap space for that at all. I think the greasiest fucking trade. Zach McEwen for Brendan Lemieux.
Oh yeah.
What do you like? What? Like just fourth line trade?
Is that a torch trade?
It's I mean, what was the point? Aren't they just like the same player? Is like Brendan Lemieux a little bit younger or something?
Less money too.
Lemieux is 26. McEwen is 26. Never mind. They're the exact same person.
Literally the same person.
Maybe um maybe LA was sick of Lemieux's shit and they're like, hey, we'll swap you and give you a fifth if you can take him. Yeah, I don't understand this deal too because like, did they need the cap space for this?
I don't know. Yeah.
Weird. Nick Bonino going back to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, oh, for whatever reason, is just like, what's the oldest guys in that are available that we can pick up?
They do like it's the Bowman plan. It's like you find a guy that worked for you before. Let's
Yeah, bring him back.
Yeah. Oh, I don't get it.
Jordan Greenway going to Buffalo.
It was funny was you guys were just talking in a group chat about how Buffalo's got to do something. Buffalo's got to do something.
Yeah.
And then literally after you said that, you guys were saying that the trade goes through. But you were saying you're disappointed a little bit that Buffalo didn't do much more.
I thought that like Buffalo, I mean, it just to me it makes so much sense for Buffalo to go after John Gibson. Like he's got term. Buffalo has the draft capital. They don't need to keep making these picks. Like, this team is encroaching on the playoffs. They need to solidify this team. You don't need to hold on to these picks anymore. Like, your team is good, man. Like, you have these extensions in place that are looking really good. If Tage Thompson keeps playing the way he does, that's going to be such a steal of a contract. Even though how much I shat on it in preseason,
Yeah.
Him, Dylan Cousins, like Jack Quinn, like those are the young guys. And then on the back end, you have Owen Power, Rasmus Dahlin. Like, those guys are gonna be sick. And then they don't have goaltending.
They're a goalie away, I think. Maybe one more like key veteran piece that like has some experience that can really like solidify them. But it's like you get a goalie, that's a game changer right there. I think you're a playoff team. You're a guaranteed playoff team if you bring in like a John Gibson or any goalie that's not 40 plus old Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, I love Craig Anderson. I think he's great, but it's like that's not gonna get the job done for you.
Yeah, man. Like, it's like they're afraid to be buyers because they've been sellers for so long. So they don't want to like give up too much and then all of a sudden falter and then like those picks become way more valuable. But like, just go for it. I like the Greenway thing. I guess he wasn't playing too hot in Minnesota recently. But I could see him playing like he fits a good role. Because I was gonna say like they should have gotten like JVR.
Yeah.
Speaking of JVR, he got traded to Detroit and then it never happened. The reports that it was going to go down and then it just fell through.
It was pending another trade, and the other trade never happened. Yeah, so
and then the Flyers ended up doing nothing.
They got Lemieux.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to talk about, and then if you got anything, then we'll wrap it up here. Kind of talking about the trade deadline. Yotes GM Bill Armstrong was kind of getting a lot of shit because all the Arizona does is draft picks and contracts of guys that are never going to play again. And he basically said, he goes, when asked if all that dead money they have is cap manipulation, he says, we do business in here. Those are the rules. We operate within the rules. We're not going to apologize for that.
Yeah.
And as annoying as it is, it's right. I mean,
it's the same as like everybody being annoyed with Tampa, like having Kucherov sit out the entire season because he's injured and coming into the playoffs and being way over the salary cap.
Until they address the LTIR and all that kind of stuff in the CBA, you can't bitch and moan about it. It's strictly, I mean, it's within the rules. They're able to do what they can do, and they're doing it. And it sucks. It's stupid, but hey, it's not like Arizona's done anything yet to prove that it's for anything.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll let you wrap up with whatever you want to talk about.
Did you see that Quinn Hughes set an NHL record?
Oh yeah, was it the fastest to like 200 assists?
Yeah, fastest defenseman to 200 assists. Just beat Brian Leach's record. And I think it was only, I forgot because I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it. But it was only like 10-ish games or so. And it's funny because I guess Cale Makar still has the potential to beat that too, because he hasn't played as many games yet.
I also like how Cale Makar comes back from his concussion. They lost, and he's like, I'm the bad luck charm. Every time I come back from an injury, we lose.
Yeah. Well, they got to get used to it. Let's see. The other thing was the Tampa versus Carolina game, where Carolina just absolutely smoked them, and it was so. John Cooper, the previous game had sat out Kucherov, Stamkos, and Point for the entire third period to send a message that the team's not playing well, and like if those guys aren't going to step up to the plate, he's going to give the ice time to the guys that are. Tried to send that message. They come out and play Carolina, and they get 4 shots in the first 2 periods, and then they finish the game with 14 shots, and they lose like about 5-0.
So bad.
And then somebody changes their Wikipedia about how the team has great bonding experiences, like how they just went to a game, went and watched an NHL game in Raleigh. Probably the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, man, when people change like Wikipedia articles, I don't know who does it, but it's always something hilarious and clever.
So funny. And then the same thing happened with Colorado and San Jose the other night. There was like within the 24 minutes of hockey, Colorado was up 5-0, and Winnipeg or San Jose had 2 shots. It was insane. But
It's weird when teams are just getting like blown out like that. I wonder if they're just missing the net like a ton. Oh, Hawks are winning 1-0. Cool.
right.
Oh, what else? Brandon Tanev has a bobblehead with the Kraken, and like you pointed out, is that he's wearing a practice jersey.
Like they know they can put their game jerseys on the bobbleheads, right?
Yeah, maybe they just didn't want to go into that much detail. But it's really good. So the whole reason why I'm saying he has a bobblehead is because it's the same as his NHL picture, where he's got the big wide eyes.
Shocked, yeah.
That all of like Seattle like recreates in like all of their sports. And then the other thing is just Trevor Zegras is disgusting and did a between the legs goal at a very high speed the other day against Seattle, actually.
2 guys on him too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he had a
Top
break
shelf.
on his own. Yeah.
It's crazy like to watch him play because you never know what's gonna happen. Like usually with like really good players, like you can predict them, but like players like McDavid and I guess like Zegras, even though they're not even in the same class, like you can never predict what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. I love it. Hockey's cool.
Hockey's cool. Hockey's fun. So, all right, episode 215. Tanner, what do you want to call it?
Games happened.
Games happened. All right. All right. So Tanner, Jarom, episode 215. Games happened. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the YouTube channel, 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, social media at WCB Podcast. And yeah.
I almost want to change the name to just Bjork.
You do that?
No. It just makes me think of the Swedish chef.
Yeah.
Seeing his name in the assist column 3 times in a row is just so funny.
Yeah, and I guess my party message here is, hey, after tonight, only 18 more games. We'll be out of our misery.
Hey.
Hopefully, we will be top 2 pick. So, all right. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.